Hello, friends. Uncle Marv here with another episode of the IT Business Podcast, your podcast for managed service providers, IT professionals, anyone that does any type of business network support. This is the show where we try to talk about product stories and tip, helping you to do your jobs better, smarter, and faster. This is the Wednesday live show presented by NetAlly. Tonight's guest, Christina Jones from ThinkPINK IT. Christina, how are you?
I'm great. Hope you are.
You hope I am. I'm doing fantastic.
Great. That's because you're from Florida.
Don't be mad because you had to go home.
I am.
For those that do not know, Christina is from North Carolina. And the reason we made that comment is that last week she spent some time in Orlando. So nice change to come down. How long were you down for?
I was down for almost a week. Spent
Yeah.
lots of time at Disney and at the Omni and watching a lot of girls cheer.
Yay. So I was not as far north as Carolina, but I was in Georgia over the past weekend. That was the
Nice.
weekend of the wife's family Christmas. We spent Christmas at the cabin,
Ooh.
and it got down to, I think it was 55 degrees.
Oh,
So
55.
yeah, that's cold for Florida, man.
Yeah.
So how are things going?
Great. Busy as ever.
Yeah. So, Christina, when you were last with us, I think it was just over a month ago, we had done episode number 453 titled My Boss Quit, Now What? And you were able to share with us. It's not really your origin story because you had been doing tech for a while, but it was the story of how you got to be an IT business owner. So, how's business been since then?
It's getting there. I'm getting more processes in order and managing things a little bit better than I was.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting there.
Okay. So one of the things that I did not ask you in that show was the transition period. I know we talked about, your emotions, the roller coaster of getting a call at 8 p.m. The night before and getting the keys and the kingdom the next morning. But what was it like for your customers? Were you able to keep it business as usual for them?
Pretty much, because all my clients were used to seeing this face. And I have a good relationship with all my clients. So I'm very personable with them. So I think it made them feel a little bit more comfortable and stuff. And it really wasn't much of a change for them.
All right. And during that time, I know it was a shock in a
Yeah.
sense that, you were just given a business. And I'm sure there was a period of, disbelief,
Hmm.
things of that nature. I don't want to say negativity in a sense, but, we did talk about how, it may have felt overwhelming to all of a sudden, be responsible and stuff. So did you do anything to kind of surround yourself with, positive energy and good thoughts and this is gonna work?
Lots of breathing, saying it is going to be okay. Lots.
Yeah. Okay. And for people that may not have gone back to hear that episode again, that was episode 453. My boss quit. Now what? And like I said, we did talk about a lot of stuff, but after the show, did you go back and think, oh, we left this out? We should have talked about this. Was there anything that we missed?
I really don't know. I'm an open book,
Yeah.
so I really don't know. I really don't know. It was just a very abrupt life changing event for me and my family and my clients. So it was definitely an adjustment for all of us.
Yeah. All right. So, folks, go back and listen to that again. 453. My boss quit. Now what? So, for tonight, we are going to continue that story and then talk about how life has been since then. We'll talk about some stack stories.
Yeah.
And for those that are watching the live show, you may notice that I've got a weird looking shirt on here with an emblem that, if you've been in the industry a while, you may recognize it. This is an HP Enterprise logo on a shirt. I got this today. And if you follow me on LinkedIn or the Facebook, you would have seen I posted a picture that I got to spend the morning with some people from HPE at the Fountain Blue, a nice hotel down in Miami, Florida. Christina, you'd love it. You would
No,
just love it. On the ocean,
really?
blue seas, nice beach, big pools. Yeah, lovely place.
I'm coming.
Okay.
I
So
need
I was
these
there.
invites. I need them.
Well, this was not a conference. This was a small controlled invite. I was part of a group that HP brought in to just talk about what it was like to be an MSP dealing with HP.
Oh,
And I
wow.
need to say specifically HPE, which is HP Enterprise,
Mhm.
or we were corrected today. It's actually Hewlett Packard Enterprise,
Yeah.
which is separate from HP Inc.,
Mhm.
which is the printers and
Mhm.
notebooks and that side. This is the enterprise, but apparently there is an HPE for MSP in the SMB.
Our
Yeah.
acronyms are crazy.
Yep. And they just wanted to make sure that, the branding was correct. Apparently, they feel that there's a disconnect, and rightfully so, because we felt like there was a disconnect. We don't know which HP to talk to when we're trying to deal stuff. There's technically three separate Hewlett Packard companies. And depending on where you are in the market, you may have to go to a different place to purchase items. The HP Enterprise, they actually did specify that HP Enterprise only deals with the channel, meaning they don't go direct to your customers. So that was something that we found reassuring, although I'm going to say we question it because every vendor that we know of that has said, we'll never contact your
Yeah.
customers. Well, sometimes they do.
Yeah, they do.
So we talked about that. We talked about, the supply chain issues in the channel. We talked about things that had to do with distribution and sales reps and account managers. And then they also wanted us to know about all the different programs that they had out there, including things like HPE GreenLake, HPE Finances. And I'm not going to go into all this right now because
Wow.
um, we talked about HP iQuote, which is their quoting tool that if you needed to, configure servers, apparently a lot of people were using different versions of the HP iQuote. And one of the big beefs that came up was going through all the hassle to create a quote for an HP server and then go to your distribution place and find out that parts were not in stock.
Right.
And so we talked about it. There is an HP Universal iQuote that will show all of the major distributors. So Tech Data, TD Synnex, Ingram, D&H. So when you go to build out your server, you can see which of those distribution places has your part in stock. So you can know before you place the order if you
Right.
need to go to multiple distribution places or not. So a nice little show. It was good. It was just for 4 hours, although it did take me an hour and a half to drive what normally would take 34 minutes. So that was fun,
Wow.
which is why I don't go to Miami that often. Here's a question. So while I'm driving to Miami, I start getting emails from a client. I won't go into the detail, but I'll ask you the question. Do you have customers that email you and then 5-10 minutes later email you again, and then like 2 minutes later email, a minute later email, and then send another email saying, hey, can you please respond to my email so that I know you're working on it?
What email do you respond to? It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
We do have some needy clients sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll respond to your last email to tell you that I'll get to the other emails when I'm darn good and ready.
Yeah.
That's not what I wrote, by the way.
No, yeah. I hope not.
So that was an interesting morning. And of course, the problem had resolved itself by the time I got to Miami, so I didn't have to worry about it. But it was fun.
Oh, yeah. That's always fun.
Yeah. So let's look at some news items real quick
Okay.
before we get too far into the weeds. Did you see the news that came out today? As a matter of fact, this afternoon, Enable is cutting jobs. So Enable, for people that don't know, SolarWinds, Hound Dog, Cove Backup, your RMM / backup / web protection / blah, blah, blah. They're cutting about 5% of its workforce. Actually, they've already cut them. I should say that. They cut 5% earlier this month due to, quote, the challenging macroeconomic environment, despite showing that they had strong financial results in the third quarter. So you don't use Enable, do you?
No, I don't.
I think we had this conversation.
Yeah. I don't. But I know a couple of people that do. That's really shocking.
Yep. So let's see. I didn't realize they're based in Burlington, Massachusetts.
Oh, wow.
Did not know that. I asked you before the show began if you use Nerdio.
No.
But Nerdio announced today that they have gained $117 million to build management tools on top of Azure Virtual Desktop.
Wow.
So it's basically what they call Series B funding, and it was led by UpData Partners that brings their total amount raised to $125 million.
Wow.
And while they didn't go into specifics about what it does, for people that do not know, Nerdio's platform allows customers to deploy, manage, and optimize virtual desktops that are running in Azure. And that caught my attention because I know that some people earlier this year had questioned Nerdio because Nerdio came out of the gate really strong and really helping people to create these environments and manage them. And then they kind of tailed off like some people do, and people were questioning if they were going to survive. But come to find out, $117 million can make you survive a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yes, it is. So, all right. There's a lot of news out there, but I'll just go with those couple of stories. Oh, hear about this one. Now, do you use Microsoft Teams?
Yes.
Do you use the add-in that is built into Microsoft Outlook?
No, I don't.
Well, it's going to get better, they say. They are going to add direct chat integration into Outlook and provide an easy Teams chat experience in the context of a meeting where you can send a quick message or review the chat, blah, blah, blah. Right now, it's only going to be limited to their calendar items. It will be useful for meeting organizers, which I don't know why that's a huge. I mean, they have the add-in, so I think the add-in. I don't use the add-in, so I assume that was just to create meetings.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, just to create the meetings and stuff, but I don't think you were able to like chat or anything.
All right. Well, now you're going to be able to chat.
Ooh.
As if we don't have enough places to chat already.
Right.
All right. And since this is the news segment, I do want to let everybody know that I have made yet another plea to our good friend, Rob Ray. who used to be at Datto, that was purchased by Kaseya. And I continue to ask that Mr. Rob Ray, when you make that announcement, when you announce your the end of your free agency, that you come on the IT Business Podcast and let's talk about that. So I have continued to reach out, and there are messages going back. Rob Ray has not disappeared, but he's not made that announcement yet. So this is my official public plea for Mr. Rob Ray. When you're ready, when that free agency has been, you know, announced, the selection is made, come on the IT Business Podcast and let's chat.
Yeah, we'd love to know.
Yes. When Rob Ray talks, people listen.
Yes.
All right. So, oh, look at that. So, sounded so nice. I said it twice. All right. So, Christina, I did ask you how things have been since we chatted last, and I should go back and let people know this wasn't something that just happened. So, this happened to you basically about a year and a half ago. So, you've had time to adjust and make things work. And from the appearances that everybody saw at some of your ASCII appearances and stuff, you're doing quite well. But let me ask you this question. Now that you've had these 18 months and we're coming to the end of another year, you're beginning the start of 2023 planning and stuff. Do you have long-term plans now? Have you been able to kind of settle in and think, okay, I've got a 20-year plan for the business? Do you have that?
No. I haven't even thought that. I want to, my goal for 2023 is to have things running smoothly with great processes so that we can hire a couple people to come on board to allow me to work more on the business.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's my short-term 2023 goal.
Okay. Now, that seems to me that was part of your 2022 goal, because a lot of what I saw was you trying to talk about stack items and this partner and that partner and stuff like that. So let me just ask, how has that been lately?
It's been going well. I've defined more of what I want to stick with for now. And I'm still vetting like a couple, vendors to kind of see where they are and where I am and see if we're a good match.
Now, are these new vendors to fill gaps, or are these new vendors to replace existing vendors?
Some of them are replacing. We're looking more at our cybersecurity services and stuff, antivirus, and we've done some changes with our RMMs and stuff like that. So it's building up a lot better.
Now, you say changes. Did you actually make a change? Because we've talked, and let me ask this: Are you comfortable saying any names on the air?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So if I remember correctly, you had Synchro.
I had Synchro.
And you've moved away from Synchro?
I have moved. Well, I have not 100% moved away. I'm transitioning over to Autotask and Datto RMM, and I hope that is going to be a good move for us. So far, it seems great.
All right. So when did that happen?
We did that about a month ago.
Okay. So we must have chatted just before that, because I don't think you had made that decision yet.
No.
All right.
No.
So what made you want to switch?
I needed something a little bit more than what Synchro had to offer me. It was good. It was working great. It did a lot of what I wanted it to do, but I needed something a little bit more with processes. Just the auto task capabilities were just a lot more than what Synchro had to offer for me. So it seems to be going well. It is a huge learning curve, though.
Okay.
So we're getting through it. It's worked out well. I mean, I've learned it pretty easily. Lots and lots of videos. I was just a little on the fence because I haven't been too happy with Dado here lately. But so far, this part of it seems to be going smoothly.
Okay. Well, I was going to say there's been a lot of talk on both sides. Now, I think I told you, is there a chance you could hang on to the start of the year? Because, Emily Glass, the CEO, says, stuff's going to change and it's going to be good. Couldn't wait that long?
Well, I still have it. I still have Synchro.
Okay.
I have not moved all my clients over. I have just moved more of my demanding clients over to my Dado,
Okay.
RMM, and AutoTask. So, so I'm still playing both fields, right now. So we're going to see where it ends up.
All right. Now, when you say you needed more processes, so what? Because the Data RMM and the Synchro RMM, I think, are about the same. So, are you talking about the auto task features
Yeah,
versus the Synchro?
more on the PSA side. It just gave me a little bit more automation, a little bit more detail on what I could do. I I don't really I could go all day on all the differences on them, but Synchro was very user friendly, very easy to use. Autotask is just a little bit more of a learning curve, but it works well with integrations on things. So that is a nice part.
Okay. Which particular integrations?
So Autotask works well with obviously your data BCDRs. You're able to open your tickets and it will do your remote monitoring, all that all in one. There's a lot more changes that I think that they are about to do. So it's just laid out a lot better. I think
Oh,
so. But I know some people would argue with me, but I like it. It's pretty seamless, but it can be very cumbersome too. Just depends on how much do you really want it to do.
right. Well, I think that's the thing that can be said about all of them. One, it has to be comfortable for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has to work in conjunction with how you work.
Yeah.
So, in terms of workflow, in terms of
Yeah.
thinking process, moving things along. Now, you made a comment that you weren't happy with Datto recently. So,
No, I have not been too
now what were you
happy.
using? Did you? So, was it the BCDR?
It was the BCDR, and it was awful. As you know, I think it was within the last 2 weeks, they had a national portal issue with all kinds of portal users not being able to log in, not able to see their devices, not able to pull up any of the data. Um,
I think I missed
all
it.
my BCDR devices disappeared. I'm still working on getting those BCDR devices back on my portal. It's just been,
What?
yeah, it's been a lot. I don't know. I was hoping there were going to be good change with this merger, but I don't know because I can't really say much about the Kaseya because I never really had to deal with that. So, but now data support used to be super awesome. You could call them, you'd get somebody like within a minute. Now you're having to call, then they'll call you back. They're having to consult with people. They can't just I don't know. I don't know what their thinking is. I don't know. I really don't know what their technician levels are anymore. No
All
one
right.
knows anything.
I'm paying attention, but I'm also typing because I somehow missed that. So
Yeah.
I have been now. Granted, I don't go in the portal every day, and I still have
Yeah.
BCDR. I also have networking products. I've got the access points, a couple of switches out there. So I missed that, but all my stuff is there. All
Yeah.
my devices are there. So how are you getting to them if you're not going through the portal? Are you logging in locally?
So since they disappeared, I was not able to access anything. So that was a very frustrating call to my rep, and a lot of engineering meetings, trying to figure out what's going on. And the support team worked with me on this for over a week. So we're still working on it, but they said that there have been like some changes, and maybe as because of my area, my sales rep got hired up, so they left, and I have a new sales rep that's in Miami, which he's been awesome. But, it's just one of those things, just trying to get everything together and right. So I'm having to call support every day and check on these devices, to find out, hey, are my clients getting solid backups? Because heaven forbid if something was to happen and I did not have current backups, I would be up the creek.
So it looks like October 27th, there was Datto Partner portal login failures.
Mm-hmm.
So does that sound right to you?
No, this was about 2 weeks ago. I wish I could find that email.
So 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
let's see. So
Let's see if I can.
yesterday, Datto Workplace, Cell 6, unable to access files and folders from workplace teams. No, nothing in November. There were SaaS protection issues also in October. So,
Yeah, they kept telling me you can go and look at the statuses and see when it's back up. So I'm trying to find that email
interesting.
from support.
Now, when you say in your area, that doesn't make sense because
I know it doesn't, but they like to just woo you with all kinds of information.
yeah. And this actually, I transitioned that because there was a question in the chat that probably missed the beginning, asking Christina, where is your business located? And I've said North Carolina, but can you describe more precisely in North Carolina you're at? Because I think the last time I was off by 100 miles.
So I am actually right outside of High Point, North Carolina, which is about central North Carolina. Major cities around us: Winston-Salem, Greensboro. So I'm just in this little hole in the wall off of High Point. Most of my client base is in the Asheboro, Seagrove, Greensboro, Winston, and around. So
Winston-Salem?
Winston-Salem.
Okay. So for people visually looking at a map, that is kind of central
Mm-hmm.
in Carolina,
Yeah.
um, directly west of Raleigh.
Yep. About an hour north of Charlotte.
Okay. East of Hickory.
Yep. Good old Hickory.
Yes, I do. I know a lot of weird little places up there.
Except for Archdale, right?
Yes, yeah. Which I should know because if I know a place like Kannapolis, I should probably know Archdale, right?
Yeah. High Point, they do the furniture market here twice a year.
Well, High Point, Burlington is right near there.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't what's the furniture? Asheville Furniture Store started up there, right?
Thomasville.
Thomasville's there, yeah.
Yeah, you got Thomasville and High Point. Those are two big furniture industries. Although I wouldn't say that they're big furniture manufacturing industries anymore. But they still have their shows.
And how far are you away from Martinsville, Virginia?
Martinsville in about an hour and 15 minutes.
All right. For people that know Martinsville, big raceway up there.
Oh, yeah. I was there at that last Martinsville race where I can't remember the name of the driver, but he gunned it.
Oh, I don't follow racing.
I'm from North Carolina, you know.
I dated a girl from there. That's how I know that place.
Oh.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I was about to say.
All right, let's do this. Since we did a little break here, let me take care of the sponsors here and do a quick announcement, and we will be right back.
All right.
You're listening to the IT Business Podcast, the podcast for every IT professional. IT Business Podcast is presented by NetAlly, the #1 ally of network professionals everywhere. Live stream funded by Computers Done Right. And thank you to our partners, Tom Bull, Kyle Kenyon, Clark Stockdale, and Synchro. All right, we're back. We are here with Christina Jones, ThinkPINK IT in North Carolina, not to be confused with ThinkPINK in Italy.
No, I'm not.
You know that they are there, but it's not even an IT place. It's more like a clothing company in Italy. And I was going to mention your Twitter thing, but
hey, I fixed it. I fixed it.
Fixed? It's fixed?
Yes, it's fixed.
Okay. So if you go to the website and click on the Twitter, let me make sure it's working here. Oops, that's the Facebook. The Twitter, there it is. Yay. At ThinkPINKITNC. Oh, wait. Now it's showing caution. This account is temporarily restricted. What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
What did you do?
Twitter does not like me. That's just point blank. Twitter does not like me.
Did you say something about the man?
I didn't say anything about the man. Maybe that was the problem. I didn't say anything about the man.
All right. Well, I can't promote that now.
So, it will be fixed. To be continued.
So thinkpinkit.com. That's where you want to go anyway. That's where you'll read all about the services there, be able to contact Christina. And actually, we'll just let your daughter promote it. Her Twitter works just fine.
Right.
Oh, look at this comment from the chat. Great. She will start selling clothing.
Oh, that's my husband.
You know what? You could probably, well, I don't know, maybe copyright infringement, but yeah, you can sell ThinkPINK IT clothing
with my brand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody's making t-shirts. Why not?
I got t-shirts.
There you go.
Yeah, I got Uncle Marv shirts. We'll be making more of those. All right, let's get back to chatting about your stack. So Datto, Synchro, Datto RMM, Autotask. Let me do this before we go down that road some more. Let me ask, and I think I know the answer, because one of the questions I was going to ask you is, as an owner, have you been thinking differently about the stack than you did or still do as the technician? Because I know you're still doing the technical work as well, but do you find yourself thinking about the stack differently?
Oh, yes, definitely.
All right.
You got to look at the costs on everything and how much to charge the client for it, and you got to make it work. You got to make some kind of money, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely, as a technician in the past, you don't really think about all those things about it. You use those tools and you go with it. But now, as a business owner, I think about those tools. I think about how much it costs me. I think about the support. I mean, you just think of all kinds of things that go along with it. Is this still going to be the best thing for my client? Has the company gone down, or have there been any breaches? Just all kinds of stuff that you really do have to think about.
So if we look at this from a standpoint of just a business owner, not specifically IT, but from a business owner perspective, I mean, what are some of the things that you've now had to think about more from, from the owner's chair as opposed to the technician's chair?
Probably how much is it going to cost me?
Yes.
Yeah. How much is it going to cost me? And is this the best thing? Is there any other thing that works just as good that might be a little bit cheaper? Or is there a next best thing that might be a few dollars more that is going to give me some kind of added benefit?
Did you find yourself cutting back a lot in the beginning?
Yes. Yeah, especially in the beginning because I was just starting out as an owner, and thinking about all the things that we had going in the past. Like, I have to make it work, because I was going pretty much from a break fix model to transpiring into an MSP. So now I'm about 98% MSP now. I mean, I don't really go on site unless it's critical.
Now, when you looked at that, so one of the things that I think I'll be looking at more next year as we talk about IT from a business owner's perspective is a concept that I got from another podcast called knowing your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So, what types of things have you had to dig into numbers wise? I know you talked about, cutting the expenses stack wise and stuff, but I'm sure a lot of it had to go into, what do you pay yourself as the owner versus the technician? What does that mean for taxes, insurance, and stuff like that? Do you have anything that you could share about those transitions that you've had to make in the first year and a half as a business owner?
As a business owner, I make nothing, but
Okay.
I do make some money. But I have spent most of my money dumping it back into my business, um, just to upgrade things or make some changes that are going to make things easier for me down the road. Um, Inventory, whatever it may be. I got rid of a lot of all this extra stuff that I had just laying around that's probably never going to get used. Um, I just had to really just evaluate what my passion is and what I want to provide to a client. I've had many people tell me to find that sweet spot about what you love to do and build from that. So, my main goal was to be a tech superhero and someone that someone could rely on when they call me and say there's a problem in it. I can either talk them through it or I can get it done as fast as possible, so that they can continue on doing other things. It's just a lot of things that you have to really think about what is important for you. I'm a mother of five, and family has always been my number one. But since owning this business, family has not always been top priority for me. I'm my husband, my mother, I have a great support system with my children. So that has helped me a lot and stuff. And it's just sometimes you don't always get the support you need from your family, or you get these snarl remarks from your kids that my computer is more important. But, I tell them at the end of the day that this is all for them. And one day, mommy is going to be a millionaire. And then we can just sit back, relax, have fun together, and build from that. So, I mean, really, any advice I would have for anybody that has a business or is starting a business or wants to start a business is just to really find that passion, that you want to offer, and just build from that. I mean, you don't need to have all these extra services, that aren't really important to you. I mean, I don't want to sit here and sell antivirus to everybody just to make a couple dollars. I want to give people a full package and simplify things for them.
So, okay, so I have a couple of questions. Let me go this one first. In terms of the family, now I met your husband at TechCon,
Yeah.
and very supportive, almost in awe of the opportunity when
Yeah.
he saw other people in the industry and the available options, I guess, is what I think he finally saw in that sense. But you mentioned that family doesn't always understand,
Right.
so I have to imagine that there are longer hours.
Yes.
You mentioned that you haven't made money. Now let me ask you, when you say you're not making money, like, are you foregoing the paycheck that you were getting when you were a tech to put back into the business?
Yeah. 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 I mean, I did some price increases. So I make, I don't want to say like I'm not, I mean, I make a pretty good paycheck, but I I want to dump it back into my business, just so that it can help me grow a little bit. Got all these things that you don't think about, like marketing and, training and all the things that you've just got to keep up with. So, I just dump it in, you know, we're still happy. We still pay our bills,
Right.
but
Okay.
I do take a big chunk of it and I dump it back in. And my goal was in 5 years from now that I'm going to get a return times 10. So we'll see how that happens.
All right. Well, that was kind of why I was asking you at the beginning is have you started to put together some plans long term? I mean, for instance, let's just add, life insurance, that type of thing. Are you, starting to think you've got to put stuff in place to
I
make
mean, yes.
sure? Okay.
Yes. If something wants to happen to me, I want to know that somebody could take over my business. So it's been very important for me to document processes on everything, because if I was, I've even questioned my husband. If I was to die today, are you just going to let my business go, or what would you do? So at first he was like, "Oh, I can't do it," but he knows I have enough people in my network that he can reach out to someone and still run my business.
All right.
So we'll see. I don't plan on dying anytime soon.
Well, I would hope not.
I'm having too much fun.
And people in North Carolina live a long time.
I
They,
don't know why it's so cold up here.
okay, that's just temporary.
Yeah, it is. It is. The summers are great here. The fall is great here. The only thing I don't like is the really cold and windy days.
Okay, you're not in the mountains, are you?
No, but I'm close enough. I'm an hour, 30 minutes to an hour from the mountains.
All right. What's your normal winter like?
It snows maybe every 5 years. And when I say snow, we might get 2 feet, if that, every 5 to 8 years. The winters really don't get really bad here until I want to say probably mid to late January. But I think like this week it's been in the 40s, maybe.
Well, Archdale, North Carolina, right now it's 38 degrees.
Yeah, that's cold. That is cold.
And your high today was 44.
Woohoo!
Your high tomorrow, 45, low 34.
Okay, don't
Holy cow. It's going to get down to 25 degrees on Sunday.
please, please, please. I can't take it anymore. I'm like seriously contemplating getting a plane ticket to go to Miami just for the weekend.
Well, right now it's 77 degrees.
So lovely.
Oh, we're going to have a dip too on Sunday.
It did get a little cold, like a little chilly in Orlando for a couple nights. That the last couple nights we were there, it was a little chilly, but still nothing like here.
So this weekend it's going to get into the 60s, and the 14-day forecast is 14 days. It's more than 14. So next Friday, the 23rd, before Christmas, it's going to get down to 57 degrees here in Fort Lauderdale.
That's insane. Do y'all have winter jackets?
We have jackets. We don't have winter jackets. What's wrong with you? I bought a pullover and put my logo on it. That's what that's our winter jacket.
Oh, geez.
I got a hoodie.
Oh, wow.
Here we go. Another Florida man. Windbreakers. That's what we have.
Oh, geez. Yeah, one day I will get the luxury of living in Florida.
All right. So let's go ahead and start to wrap up here. You already started to answer one of the questions I was going to ask in terms of what would be the advice you would give to someone that is either put in a position just like you, a sudden change where they were made owner of a business, or if they were just starting out. The things that you've kind of learned over the last 18 months. What are some of the advices that you would give to people?
I would definitely say you really need to think about it as a whole. It's not just being a tech. It's doing all that back end stuff, paying taxes and figuring out how you're going to get funding to have employees come in. I mean, there's just a whole lot. And I think a lot of people, like even myself, when I thought about just opening up a tech business prior to all this, I was like, oh, this is cool. Just go out, you help some people, no big deal, right? They pay you a check, you're good, right? No, but you don't think about your state tax you have to pay and everything that's inquired with that. It is a lot. And I would just say that do your homework first, because it's not as easy as it sounds. And but if you have a good process, good plan and stuff, I think you'll be good.
You had a hallelujah from the chat. Taxes. I knew I forgot something.
Taxes.
Taxes are a big thing. I had that issue when I started. My second full year, I forgot to pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Uncle Sam giving me a call saying, you owe us some money.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot to it. I mean, just you have your state tax, your county tax. Like, I know it is in North Carolina, but you're in Florida. You don't have taxes, do you?
Yes, we have taxes.
You don't pay state taxes, do you?
We don't have state income tax.
Yeah.
But we have all the other taxes.
Yeah.
Don't get me in trouble with somebody. We pay our taxes.
Marvin pays his taxes.
I pay my taxes. I pay my sales tax. I pay the little surcharge that they have on the sales tax. It's 0.5% in some counties, 1% in other counties. I pay my property taxes both places, because even in the business here, you got to pay freaking property tax.
Yep.
Whatever. We pay a bunch of stuff. I do my business license every year.
Yep.
I do it in 2 freaking cities.
Wow.
Because we've got a mailbox in Fort Lauderdale and a mailbox in Oakland Park. So technically I'm a business in 2 cities.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to get that all straightened out. We're going to try to get down to 1 location. get that squared away.
Oh, it can be. Your list just starts piling up. You just
Yeah,
keep writing them down. It's more and more stuff. And then you question yourself, is it worth it? Is it really worth it?
you do. I mean, I'm going to share this story later, but we're going through a deal with insurance where that's going up. I mean, all of these things, they add up. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
every freaking little thing. And, somebody who sent me, oh, somebody sent a thing that this is a vendor, sent an email that they're raising their support rate from $80 an hour to $125 an hour.
Wow, that's a big jump.
Um, it's I'll have to find it and report properly on it. But it's that's a vendor giving support to us. We're
Mm-hmm.
paying them for managed services,
Yeah.
for firewalls and stuff like that. So but if we need additional support,
Mm-hmm.
that comes at a fee. And I
Yeah.
think if I remember the email correctly, level 3 is staying the same, but level 1 and level 2, it's going from 80 to 125. Now, that's a huge percentage jump. I mean, something
Yeah.
like 56% or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big jump. I mean, especially for level 1.
Yeah, I probably need to. I should have pulled up that email to read it properly. And actually, I don't. I'm sure I'll get a call tomorrow.
You misspoke.
You did. But here's the thing: so much. I mean, just without getting into politics and without talking about stuff. I mean, the cost of doing business has gone up,
It has.
and we have to
It
account
keeps
for that.
going up and
Yeah.
up.
So, I mean, we're raising prices next year,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and I'm going to have to probably hire full time next year. I've got a subcontractor that we're paying. He's working 15 hours a week for us at a client. We're doing it's a lot of money.
It
So,
is. It
as a
is.
business owner, which is kind of why I'm on this kick to know your numbers.
Yeah.
Understand your bottom line. From top to bottom. What comes in, what goes out, what the percentages are. If somebody asked you, how much did this cost me last year? I want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
No, that's
plan.
me. I even thought about taking some business classes just at a community college just to kind of get a little bit more of the business owner education.
I have a podcast for you. We'll talk about it after the show because I'm not ready to publicly announce that yet, but I've got a podcast. I just bought a course,
Okay.
relatively inexpensive, and it's just a starter. I mean, it's not going to
Yeah.
get deep in the
Mhm.
weeds, but
Yeah.
at least gives the bullet points of
Yeah.
things you need to know. And it's a good podcast. I've reached out to the person because I want to talk to them, and hopefully I'll be able to share more about them this upcoming year. So, all right. Well, Christina, let's do this. Let's go ahead and end off the live show. You actually had mentioned that you would be willing to stay for the post show.
Yeah.
So let us do that. I know that I asked you, the advice you would give. Was there anything else that you wanted to say in terms of advice or things that people should know and take from your story, your journey?
I really don't know because mine just kind of happened so fast. And so if I didn't do it, somebody else was going to take that money. So, I mean, if you're given a golden opportunity and you really have a strong mindset, just go with it and roll and have faith and lots of prayer and have a great networking and support group.
All right. There you have it. Advice from Christina Jones, owner operator of ThinkPINK IT in North Carolina. Christine, thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the IT Business Podcast. I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the show. Uh, we have one more full show for 2022. So the last show on December 21st will be the annual holiday podcast show. And we have some things that we're going to do a little bit differently, but normally we bring on some people and recap the year. This year, we are going to be giving out some Amazon gift cards as thank yous. I do need to say this. Oh, see, here we go. So apparently, last week when I put out the website, if you go to itbusinesspodcast.com, there is a tab at the top that says 2022 holiday poll. It was working when I announced it, and somewhere along the line it stopped working, and I was on my way to Georgia when a listener reached out to me and said, "Dude, your thing's jacked up." So I spent the weekend trying to get. So I'm using this site called WooRise. Now, I was using the free version previously, but I paid to have this done so that you could go there, fill out your name, answer two specific questions that I had in terms of best podcast and best guest, because we're going to reward those people for the show. And then, of course, I had things about, how'd you hear about the podcast and what are some good things about it, blah, 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 blah. But the submit button didn't work at first, and then the page didn't come up, and then WooRise was down. So I know there's not going to be a whole lot of time, and I'm going to have to, promote the yin yang out of this. But if you go to the website now, again, itbusinesspodcast.com, click on the 2022 holiday poll. It is coming up. It will let you put in information, and you can hit submit and put in your entry. Everybody that submits this will be in the drawing for the Amazon gift cards. And as I said, they're not going to be, weak little cards. They're going to be at least two $50 Amazon gift cards. So I think that'll be stuff that people will enjoy. Working on more. If for some reason there is an issue with the site, just send me an email. Marvin@itbusinesspodcast.com. Just tell me who your best guest was for this year and what your best podcast was for this year, and I'll get you in. I'll take care of that. So if you have trouble with the site, just send the email and we'll take care of it and get that done. But the next show, 8 p.m. Eastern on December 21st, the holiday podcast show, the last show of the year for 2022. Hope to see you all there. That's going to do it for this episode of the IT Business Podcast. We'll be back next week. We'll see you then. Holla. All right. Thus ends the recording of the live show.
Nice.
And Christmas at the Cabin, Net Ally, Computers Done Right. Thank you guys for continuing to support the show. And let's see, I don't know what this was. Run, Forest, Run. Why did you say that?
Who knows?
And I bought Uncle Sam a house and sent his kids to school.
Yeah. That's the truth.
With the amount of taxes that we pay.
Yes.
Although I probably shouldn't say this, but we got a nice tax return this year.
Oh, nice.
The wife was happy.
Hey.
Of course,
happy life.
She bought extra Christmas presents, so it's not like we enjoyed it. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right. So let's see here. I think we touched on everything. I think I've answered everybody's comments in the chat. Most of the comments were coming from the Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's happening with YouTube. We've got some viewers on YouTube, but no chat there. Of course, I can't see what's happening on the LinkedIn. For some reason, there's no great integration between StreamYard and LinkedIn, so there's no chat option available there. What is the changes that are coming in January? So we're working on some changes in, I don't want to say the format of the podcast, but some of the things that I talked about when I made the change from Podnuts Pro to the IT Business Podcast. We had the thought that we were going to do a lot more things. Now, I wasn't going to create another community and have everybody sign up and do another Facebook group and that sort of. We have enough communities in IT, and so I just want to participate in them. But we do have some topics that have been brought up to me in the past that I hadn't quite figured out how to present them in a podcast format. So those are the things that when I'm on break, basically going to go into the basement for a few days, think about how I want to do things with the podcast. We talked about doing an IT business book club. We talked about bringing some other topics onto the show, and I had reached out to some people, and it just didn't quite gel with doing it. We're looking at doing some video series where we actually will take a topic and break it up into, like mini webinars that we can put out. So I've got some people that I'm talking with about that. I've got one person where we've actually said, yes, we're going to do it. We think it's going to be five-part video series. The thing that I mentioned to you about that podcast with the money, I'm looking at partnering with other podcasters and doing some crossover stuff, because there are some things that I think the IT channel can learn from other industries.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to being an IT business owner.
Yeah.
I think what happens is we kind of get stuck looking at running a business from the standpoint of what the channel and the other MSPs and the marketing people tell us. And while a lot of that may work, it doesn't seem to always work for everyone. And there are other areas that we can pull stuff. There are people running some very successful businesses as solo entrepreneurs that we can learn from. There are people that have grown their business exponentially, and they may not be tech related, but they're business owner related or they're process related. I think things that we can learn from. So those are the types of things I'm looking about. Was I talking about Synchro? I don't know if you're talking about the fact that we talked about Synchro earlier in this episode. I do have Synchro scheduled to come back on the podcast, but we're talking about two different things. They are going to come back on the podcast, specifically IT related, but we are actually, can I say this? Yeah, I can. We are going to have another diversity panel, which I know was kind of, I don't want to say controversial. I think it was, when the George Floyd incident happened, I think people did not know how to deal with it.
Yep.
And I had a couple of episodes where we focused on diversity. And while I don't think we're going to keep it as an actual podcast, it's going to be, again, a lot of things I'm talking about are doing things in addition to the podcast, but having a diversity panel that's separate from the podcast, but is going to be with people in the industry and not just other technicians talking about, hey, this is how I dealt with it. We're going to have some business leaders on talking about what businesses are actually doing in our channel, in our industry, about diversity. So that is there's going to be somebody from Synchro on that diversity panel. So that is going to be happening. But then, of course, Synchro will be back on the show, especially once they've made some announcements of things they're going to be on. I'm going to have some new vendors on this year.
Nice.
So And then we're going to, I've got a bunch of other, I don't want to say non-traditional, but we're used to seeing a lot of the same people in our circles at our conferences.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually gone out of my comfort zone and I'm looking for other IT businesses. And a lot of them are MSPs, but they're just not MSPs that we've heard of on a regular basis. So I've got a few of them that we're going to bring onto the show as well. So we're not going to hear, it might be the same thing, but it's just going to be a new voice, a new part of the chorus as to how to run your business and do IT in a good way.
Yeah.
So these are all conferences like, of course, you've got your IT Nation, your TechCon, your DattoCon, and these are people that I'm meeting in other areas, in other venues, and other conferences, but they're in IT.
Yeah.
So that's all what's happening, John, in 2023. So I don't know which is going to happen first, but that's all the stuff I'm working on.
We'll see.
And I got to continue to grow my business.
Yes.
So, this is a good year for me. How was it for you? How did it end up money-wise?
Mine, I think it was actually it was better than my first year. So yeah. I didn't double, but I actually had a better year than the year before. So I can't complain.
All right.
Yeah. Lots of sales, lots of interesting things happening. So
Yeah. So 2021 was a dip for me. It was weird because in 2020 we actually had a big bump because a lot of clients, while they were not in the office and they needed to do those upgrades to like Windows 10 and stuff like that, we did a ton of that in 2020. And in 2021, we took a huge dip because we weren't doing all those projects. They were already done. And it almost hurt me because we decided to refinance our house in 2021 while interest rates were low.
yeah.
So that was the good part. The bad part is they wanted my business numbers, which I thought, why?
Yeah, really.
And so it was a pain in the butt. So we ended up giving it to them. And then they started to question, well, why is your gross revenue down this year as opposed to last year? I'm like, dude, that's not your.
Yeah. Seriously.
I mean, look at what my take home was.
Yeah.
My W-2 was still better in 2021 than it was in 2020. That's what you need to be basing it on. He goes, yeah,
Right.
but you're self-employed. I'm like, dude, I'm a corporation.
Yeah, right.
It was
Some
annoying.
people don't get that whole thing. So,
No, I think that's another thing too. The IT industry, we still get branded as ridiculous.
we
I
just
mean,
sit around and twiddle our thumbs.
oh, you're tech? You have your own business? Oh, well,
Mm-hmm.
we need you to justify every little thing you do. No, you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you
It's
don't.
ridiculous.
All right, that rant was over. All right. So I avoided asking you any more about your stack because I didn't want you to have to feel like you were busting on anybody else.
No. It's all good. It's all good.
All right. Anything else going on? You've been quiet in the ASCII forum.
I know. I've been so busy. I know. Have you noticed? It's quiet.
Have I noticed? I'm the one telling you.
Have you noticed? Yeah, I'm usually all the time in there. I have really
There's no craziness going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been really busy though with all these end of year projects and getting everything going. So I'll be back. I'll be popping in there.
Let's see. Yeah, you've been real quiet.
Mm-hmm.
What was this? Oh, accent. Okay. We'll talk about that. Oh, IT glue.
I'm not really sure about that yet.
You just signed up for them.
Hmm.
What do you mean you're not really sure?
I don't know. I've gotten some bad feedback, and I've got good feedback, and I
Okay,
don't know.
I'm not care about feedback. I mean, if you just signed up, first of all, were you using anything before?
I was using Hoodoo.
Oh, you went from Hoodoo to IT. See, everybody else is going the other way.
Yes. And I was
So,
like, I hope I made the right decision. I was like, so I had already reached out to my rep and I said, look, I might need to sit on this IT glue thing for a minute. Because I was like, now they're making you sign 3-year contracts on everything.
well, no, I thought they stopped that. They said they did.
Yeah, they said they did, but I'm telling you, they did not. So yeah, 3-year contracts, but so I don't know. I'm still playing around with it. Seems pretty good. Just a lot of people are pointing out the security standpoint on it and stuff. So like I said, I've gotten some good feedback on it, and I've gotten bad feedback. And
Okay, now do you have a 30-day window to say no? I'm done. Get me out.
Yeah,
So, so I would do it just to not be stuck for 3 years
yeah,
because I heard now I can't confirm or deny what they're doing, but I heard that they can't make you do 3 years.
yeah. Because when I said something to my rep about it, he said, "Well, let me bring this to my manager." And I said, "Look, I'm not sure if this is going to work out for my business." I was like,
Car
I mean,
sales.
I know your commission is probably going to get cut a little bit, but I mean, I'm only buying one license for IT glue. It's not like I bought 10. I only bought one.
I thought you had to do the minimum of 5.
3? No. They will allow you to do less. And considering I was just a one person shop, I had to pay a little bit for it, but not too much. I mean, it was still under $80. So for
180?
no, it was
Oh,
under 80.
under. Okay.
Yeah, it was under 80 for one license. So, if you buy, I think it's 3 or 5, you get it for what, like $39 a license.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm playing the field. I haven't really been too happy with this whole merger thing. So, we'll see.
All right. Well, we'll end off the feed here so we can talk about that because I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and do that. I need to go home. My wife just got back from Georgia.
Ooh.
Need to go say hello. So, all right. For those of you that are still hanging out, we gone. Bye-bye.